Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to address your comments in a moment, but I ask the leave of the committee for a point of personal privilege. I want to acknowledge a member of my staff who's leaving. Yashi Gunawardena has served on my staff for over 4 years, personal office and committee, worn many hats, including serving as a professional staff member and nominations clerk. She's excelled in every role. Early on in her time with us, Yashi worked on Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearing. If you're a federal judge who's come before us in the past year, it's safe to say that Yashi played a key role in your confirmation. She also works on protecting reproductive rights, an issue she's passionate about. Although she's leaving D.C., she isn't going too far. Next month, she'll begin law school at the University of Virginia. Please join me in thanking Yashi for her service to the committee. Thanks, Mr. Chairman, for your statement at the outset of this hearing as well about last week's markup. We were surprised by the amount of time we were given to discuss the 10 nominees. I remember expressly what you did say, that you wanted to call the roll at 10:30. You made that point early on. I didn't know if that was a hard and fast rule, but you did say it. I will acknowledge that point. I want to address the claim that this was based on precedent. The precedent for cutting off debate and overriding committee rules by majority was established by 3 Republican chairmen, Chairman Hatch, who in 2003 cut off debate on 2 judicial nominees, yourself in 2018, cutting off the debate on Brett Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court, Chairman Graham, who in 2019 cut off debate on a partisan immigration bill, and 2020 cut off debate on Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. I believe what happened last week was different from what I did in 2023 when I cut off debate on 2 district court nominees. In that case, the nominees were on the markup for the 4th time. They had already had nearly 2 hours of debate on the nominees, and every member of the committee had already had an opportunity to speak. In fact, we'd already voted on the nominees, and the only reason we came back was one of our members from Minnesota stepped off the floor at an inopportune moment and then came back on the floor and tried to register her vote in person, and we weren't certain that that would stand up to the test of whether it was a valid roll call, and we started over for another go-around. During my 4 years as chair of this committee, I provided members on both sides of the aisle with ample time to debate before calling votes. The bottom line is this. The Senate parliamentarian has been clear that a chairman can override committee rules by a vote of the majority of the committee. Both Republican and Democratic chairs have done that in the past. I think each of us would say that we did not relish it, but this committee has a long tradition of robust debate, and I especially appreciate your comments about trying to recognize that precedent in your own administration as chairman. I understand our staffs have sat down in a peaceful way and talked this over, and I'm looking forward to respecting the fact that we all have busy schedules, that we still have ample time to debate these lifetime appointments, because that's an important part of our responsibility. I thank you. I'm going to withhold my statement beyond that point and so that we can move on.
Now, if I could explain proceeding today, by agreement with the minority, we'll first voice vote all U.S. attorneys except for Pirro, and we'll do that en bloc. After a voice vote, I'll open the floor for debate on the nomination of Dean Pirro.
Mr. Chairman?
Before her roll call vote. After the Pirro vote, we'll proceed to the bills. So we'll now voice.
Mr. Chairman?
May I say something about the comments of the ranker and the chair on that matter of last week?
I hope you can do it quickly. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, both you and the ranking member said that the cutting off of debate had been done a handful of times. It was not relished by either the majority, when it was a Republican majority or Democratic majority. But the sentence that was said by both you and the ranking member was that you can end debate with a majority vote. I think what I said to you in a private conversation that I appreciate, and what I want to just say here is that's not how it was done last week. We didn't have a vote. And that's what I was asking for time and time again during that episode. So clearly, I know the rules. Clearly, I've checked with the parliamentarian. We can override the rules of the committee, but there should be a vote. You began to call a vote, but then you were cut off by staff, and then we pushed the vote through. And the reason why it upsets me so much is because the debate was on a judge for my state on the Third Circuit. We've created a climate in this country that is deepening and deepening a reflexive tribalism where people aren't interested in listening to the facts anymore, listening to each other. Tribalism kills curiosity. It kills the will to listen with an open heart or open mind to your opposition, even if you disagree with them or think you'll disagree with them. That's something that this committee, I think, needs to foster. I'm very troubled this last month because I've seen people who want to come forward with things on this nominee, but they are so terrified of being doxxed or targeted or threatened or worse. The rising tide of hate, both of us on both of our parties have seen this. Judges in my district that are taking extra steps to protect themselves. The climate is getting so bad. I want to say to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that this culture of fear is affecting our ability to deliberate and do our job. A whistleblower came here to this committee with information that was disregarded. There is another person that's come forward to me through their attorneys. And so I just ask my colleagues, if you believe that, do you believe that a nominee who is not truthful under oath before this committee should not be confirmed? Do you believe that a nominee that comes before this committee that is not forthcoming and truthful should be confirmed? Do you believe that understanding the intent of a question requires a nominee to answer it honestly and not try to evade the question because they understand the intent of the question? If you believe these things, and since we can't have debate here, but before this person comes to the floor, on the record, I want to invite people to come to talk to me, and I will provide you with substantive information that should have been discussed in this hearing, clearly is not. Clearly, we can't have debate, but we have substantive information relevant to the truthfulness of this nominee, and I'm hoping more of my colleagues in this climate of fear and intimidation and rushed votes would want to know the truth before the final vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to respond to you. You and I had a private conversation, and I'm not going to say anything that you said, but it was a fruitful conversation as far as I'm concerned after our last meeting. But remember, one of the things that I told you was that we had this conflict with other committees. And remember that I told you that you got to have 100 senators together to solve this country's problems. Now, there's enough work for an individual senator to do 7 days a week if he wants to. But you're never going to solve this country's problems just working 2.5 days a week like we did under Schumer and now under Thune. We got to get this back on a 5-day work week, Monday through Friday, like it was the first 25 years I served in the United States Senate. We'd start at 10 on Monday and go to 4 on Friday. And then you don't have to have all of these meetings coming on a Thursday afternoon or a Thursday morning because you got more days to do it. I always had an agreement with Senator Hatch when he was chairman of the Judiciary Committee or chairman of the Finance Committee, and I was chairman of this committee, that we wouldn't be having our meetings on the same day because we worked it out. Now, that was still a very short week, but if we'd put in more time here, we wouldn't have to have these meetings all going at the same time. So why don't you talk to Schumer and I'll talk to Thune about working a 5-day week.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say, I've only had 14 years here. You were one of the best people I've had to work with over those 14 years because as I said, as last week's proceedings were going on, I feel like I know you, and I appreciate what you said. and I actually agree with you 100%. And I especially like when Chuck Grassley gets cantankerous, because that's the best Chuck Grassley. So I just want to say I'm not arguing with any of that, and I appreciate it. I'm just simply saying that I feel like I have, it's killing me that on this nominee, there is evidence that the nominee misled the committee, and we have not, I have not even gotten a chance for my colleagues to listen to the evidence, and that's what frustrates me. But sir, I cannot tell you, I appreciated our private conversation and the 14 years we've had of working together, and I'm hoping that we can do a better job moving forward.
Now, I'm hoping that we can move the way I suggested. We'll let anybody debate all they want to about Janine Pirro, but we'd now move to en bloc votes by voice on Kurt Almy, Nicholas Chase, Leslie Wood Murphy, Daniel Rosen, Eric Siebert, and Kurt Wall. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. No. These people will be reported.
Mr. Chairman, can I be recorded no on all of these? I'd like to be recorded no.
I'd like to be recorded as well as a no.
I heard Booker. I hear from.
I'd like to be recorded as a no vote on Kurt Almy,
Who was
Leslie
the
Murphy,
third one?
and Kurt Wall, and Nicholas Chase.
Oh, just on specific ones?
Yes.
Booker's on all of them, right?
And I would like to be recorded as no on all.
On all of them, okay. And you?
I'd like to be recorded as a no vote on Kurt Almy, Leslie Murphy, Kurt Wall, and Nicholas Chase.
Okay,
I wanted to give a brief statement on my nominee.
okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
Mr. Chairman,
Then we'll
if I
go
could
to-
on the recorded vote, unless this is on the,
on all of them, Senator Schiff?
no, on individual ones, if this is the appropriate time, or after Senator Klobuchar.